additional application has been filed by the applicant because there was the Main Street zone, and to basically exclude this property from the Main Street overlay, because that Main Street overlay prohibited residents on the first floor. And so part of the package of requests would be to take it out of that zone so that prohibition wouldn't be there. Is that correct, McKeel?
That's correct. We received communication in writing to that effect. They've submitted an application for the amendment related to this Main Street overlay zone, and they're asking that this be continued until July 10th, so that it can be heard then, as well as do the proper notice to abutters and notice in the paper.
Okay. So for items number 2 and 3, again, the IHOD zoning map amendment special exception, we will be continuing that to our July 10th meeting. And that's a special meeting, I think, because it's we pushed it from the July 3rd date. So that would be on July 10th, and there would be an additional application to take this out of the zone. That said, I know that we had opened the meeting last time. The applicant still hasn't made the presentation of the plan. But is anyone here wishing to comment about that? I will open it up to the public on this. If you're here on that, I would strongly recommend that you, again, wait, because we are having a public hearing on this. So continue this public hearing to our July 10th meeting. So you can wait for your comments on that after the presentation is actually made. But if you want to go ahead, have comments this evening, you can do that. So I'll just say, is anyone here with that recommendation and disclaimer that you hold off? Does anyone want to comment? I don't see anyone. So then we will then continue these.
Chuck, there's someone.
Oh, excuse me.
iPhone.
Do we see someone?
Yeah. Yes, someone's waving his hand.
Okay. Is that Mr. Cerrito?
No.
Who is it? McKeel, do you see anyone?
Yeah, it says iPhone 79. Unmute yourself. I don't know if you can hear us.
It's Carl Muller.
Yes.
I don't think he can hear, but I could see him.
Oh boy.
I don't see a raised hand, but
No, he did raise his hand twice.
all right, I'll ask him to unmute. Oops.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only have three comments tonight that I'd like just to discuss quickly for us.
Could you, excuse me, sir, can you just state your name and address for the record?
Yes, Carl Muller. I reside at 650 Main Street. I own the 2 buildings adjacent to the site we're speaking about this evening. Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
And 3 questions I have for the board is, the first thing is why we would make an exception and approve this with the amount of apartments that we have in Branford right now, unoccupied, and ones that are proposed and approved to be built. And now we're going to squeeze little apartments in the backyards of people. So I'm questioning the need for the project. The other concern it's always been the access for emergency vehicles and other vehicles into that location. I believe that the architects or Criscolas have submitted a new plan, but even with the new plan, it gives them 8.8 feet of clearance between the access entrance steps of that first building in front and the side. Well, a pumper today is 8 feet 2 inches. Okay, so that leaves them 6 inches, which could work in June, July, but what happens in the snow? Okay, your 8-foot driveway or 8.8, okay, becomes 6.8. I don't understand how we can approve something with such a safety hazard there, and the reason why we would approve it. Then the other concern is common area for the tenants. Okay, I've seen the plan there, and it appears that there's 3 apartments that go back there, and they have a 6x6 patio or on each unit. I mean, any of us thinks that that's enough common area to live in a 6x6 area. And we're talking, this is the new building. Where are the tenants that are in the front building going? Because right now, the people in the front building are using the space where the new building is proposed be there. It's an incredibly tight spot. I just want to make it for the record why, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense with, like I said, we've got buildings that are proposed apartment complexes in the town that are being built today. So that's all I've got to say today. So take it for what it's worth.
Thank you, Mr. Mueller.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else who wants to make the comments with the understanding again that we're continuing this and you'll have an opportunity to speak at our next meeting? Yes.
I'm Dave Cerrito, 18 John Street. I just had a question. I believe Michelle had mentioned that it was approved for a garage and 1 apartment at one point. And I just wanted to know if that's accurate. And I think that's a much more realistic goal than 3 apartments with 0 yard.
Okay. Thank you. Well, we're going to request that the applicant review this tape and be ready to address all the questions that anyone has at the continued hearing. And we could have staff look at them as well. Are there any further comments? Okay, then we are continuing these matters to our meeting on July 10th. That's items number 2 and 3 on our agenda. So thank you very much.
Okay.
That brings us then to item number 4, which is Zach Waxland, the applicant, RCR Enterprises LLC, care of Chris Russo, owner. It's 4 Sycamore Way, special exception for automotive tinting vinyl wrap. Is the applicant ready to proceed with that?
Hello, my name is Zach Waxland. I'm proposing for 4 Sycamore Way, units 4 and 5. My business is Walks Customs. Automotive vinyl wrapping and window tinting is what we mainly specialize in, which entails tinting windows, of course, and then full color change vehicle wraps.
Thank you, Mr. Waxland. Anything else you wish to present, or would you just like to have staff review this?
Staff review, that'd be it.
Okay. McKeel, you want to review your staff report on this one?
Yeah, let me bring it up. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so here's my staff report. This is a change of use, special exception, and industrial zone. It's a pre-existing industrial property with 2 buildings, a front building with multiple bays, Sycamore Road, and then a rear building. And the square is the location of this proposed special exception use, which is automotive but not requiring a state permit. There's an aerial photo in the staff report. They're not proposing to do any changes on site. It's really just allowing the use. Here's an aerial of the 2 buildings, the parking, the landscaping. The existing signage plan is all was built out according to the previous approval. I believe it was back in the 90s, but it's all again These are essentially bays with large garage doors, very similar, to accommodate the use, which is allowed by special exception. And the staff recommended that they've applied with all the requirements the special exception would need, so long as the commission finds it's appropriate. We have 3 conditions that we would propose. That it's limited to the auto tinting and automotive vinyl wrapping, and any processes related to that use. Signage be limited to the existing signage program on the property, and that all lighting, if any, is going to be added, adheres to our lighting standards that are in the condition. So that is the staff comments.
Chair Candace Chair, thank you, McKeel. Questions, comments from commission members before we open up for the public? Hearing none?
I'm sorry, Scott, Dave Dyer.
Yes, Dave.
On the drawing, it shows next to bays 4 and 5. There's it looks like an addition. It's not shown on the aerial view. If you take a look at the drawing to the left.
I think you're talking about
This area, the area right next to the red square to the left.
over here.
Yeah. It doesn't
Okay.
show it on the aerial view. Is that an addition?
It might not have been built out, so I'm not. So this is existing,
Okay.
and
Right.
the plan was what was approved. So,
Okay. All right.
and again, I think the value is really in these big bays. This is a much smaller bay. They might not have
Yep.
built it for
Understood.
whatever reason.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Any other questions or comments from commission members before we open up the public?
Fred Russo, just curious, what are the hours of operation and the days of operation?
Mr. Waxman?
Zach Walkland. So the hours of operation Monday through Friday are 9 to 5. Saturdays are listed 9 to 3. Sundays closed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Any other questions, comments from commission members? Marcy?
I'm just curious how many employees or cars you're working on at any given time.
At any given time, those 2 bays accommodate about 4 to 5 vehicles max capacity. So on the maximum end, it would be 4 vehicles. We don't like to overbook. We like to keep our shop very clean. And employee wise, I have myself and a salesman and 1 other employee that is actually hands-on with the vehicles.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. Do you have a present location where you're operating from?
Currently, no. I was in North Branford prior.
Okay. Any other questions, comments from commission members? Let's then open up to the public. Does any member of the public wish to comment on this application? Anyone see anyone? I don't see any.
Hi, Tom Simjan from Keller Williams Real Estate. I'm the listing agent for that property, and we believe that he would be a good addition to our center there. It's a good, clean operation, and it's something we're looking forward to.
Thank you, Mr. Simson.
Yes, sir.
Are there other members of the public who wish to comment? I don't see anyone. Anyone else see anyone? McKeel, see anyone?
I do not.
Okay, then we can close the public portion of this. Any further comments from the applicant, Mr. Waxland? Anything else?
No, that'll be all.
You're okay with the conditions, I assume, correct?
Yes.
Any other questions, comments from commission members or staff? Seeing none, then we'll close this matter as a public hearing. This may be something we can take up in a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Waxland. So then moving on to our agenda, the next items 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all related. There are 1 3-lot subdivision and then 3 special exceptions for an interior lot. This is the property. The applicant is M&V LLC, care of Mark Androsi. Master that applicant. Mary Keegan, trustee, is the owner. The locations are 62 Hilltop Drive and 43 Chetoket Road. Again, there are 4 applications. One is the 3-lot subdivision of property, and then there are interior lots for each of the 3 lots of the subdivision. Lot 1, Lot 2, Lot 3. So there's technically 4 applications. Is the applicant ready to proceed with this?
Good evening, Jim Preddy, Criscolo Engineering, 420 East Main Street in Branford, representing MVLLC, Mr. Andrucci. But the application process certainly makes it sound more complicated than it is. I'm just going to share the screen. We'll get right to it. I'm assuming you're seeing the map now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this property is bisected by the town line, which is why there's 2 addresses. There is the 42 Hilltop, 42 Totucket side on this side of the property, and 72 Hilltop, the end of Hilltop Road is here. There's a number of houses that exist on Hilltop Road, and looks like another building lot here. The right of way actually goes through the property to water company property. They have a gate here, and this provides, there's a gravel drive here now that provides access for them as well. The proposal is to split it into 3 lots. There's a very steep slope area here, so traversing that would be impossible by vehicle, quite honestly, probably on foot. So the access from 2 different locations actually lends itself to really only 3 lots. And because they are technically interior lots, even though this side is North Branford, we held to Branford standards, and they are all 1.5 times the requirements for the zone. So they're all just over 60,000 square feet. I'll show you. This is the so this shaded area is what your regulations consider steep slopes, anything over 25%. On this side of the property, we have a common drive that will come up and then split into 2 properties. Again, single family homes, septic and wells on both sides. This is another single family home, septic and well. We did do soil testing here. The health department, East Shore Health Department, has approved it for subdivision with the normal stipulation that once final house plans are selected, they get a chance to review it again. We are providing on-site stormwater storage on each lot. Again, the same sort of stipulation that the town engineer will get to review this again once final house selections are made. The stormwater storage needs to be based on the actual roof area. So until we know what the house plans are going to look like, the size will need to adjust. I will say that since these plans were put together, the RWA has run water up to Toket Road on this side. So I suspect that when these go back to the health department, they will more than likely require us to connect to water. And I think the owner is interested in doing that regardless. So the wells won't be necessary on this lot, but until they go back to the health department, I don't know that for sure. The North Branford Planning and Zoning has already approved this, contingent on your approval. We did actually submit this and then withdraw it because there's a line in your subdivision code that says that the minimum lot area needs to be made up of property completely in on the Branford side of the town line. We did get a variance for that. This property has been here since before the zoning code was enacted, so they did give us a variance to include the entire property when counting the lot area. One of the comments from the North Branford side was to make sure that we have signs out here at the end of the driveway depicting the street address. Because of the town line, there's a little bit confusion, but that does exist on numerous spots in town. Valley Road where Van Wilgen's Garden Center is. There's the driveways, end on the North Branford Road, but some of the houses are in Branford. There's another, can't think of, there's another one I just had in my head and I lost, but there's a couple places in town where that happens. We did receive, when we submitted this to North Branford, we received comments from the RWA. There was 3 minor comments. They did comment again on this application. They had the same 3 comments with the addition of, if there's more than 5 acres disturbed, the stormwater permit to Connecticut Deep needs to be applied for. Generously going around these areas with what we think needs to be cleared for the house. And he's not, Mr. Andrucci is not looking to clear cut this whole place. He just wants to clear what he needs to do. And by the way, not that it really matters, but he's not a developer. He's looking to build these houses for his children. But anyway, the total disturbance is just under 3 acres, so I don't think we're ever going to get to that 5. I mean, the whole place is only 6, so even if you just took this area out, we're under the 5. But I think that pretty much covers all of it. I did see a staff report with some conditions that don't seem objectionable in any way. And with that, I guess I'll take questions.
Thank you, Chuck Inster. Thank you, Mr. Preddy. Why don't we start with summaries of the staff report, and then we'll see if questions from commission members.
Yep. So let me share my screen. All right. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
So here's just with colored, the yellow is what's in North Branford, and the 3 houses are located in lots in Branford. It meets all the requirements. The steep slope obviously is called out, and that's one of the conditions we are requesting. So the conditions, obviously prior to start of construction, erosion control measures installed to satisfaction of ZEO. No clearing of trees or vegetation on the identified slopes, and a requirement for a note on the revised site plans and construction documents. No blasting is authorized as part of this application. Need to comply with the fire marshal's comments. There's an issue between Tocatcha Drive, North Branford, and Tocatcha Drive, Branford, which are 2 geographically very separate streets. There might be a numbering concern, but we want the fire marshal to really resolve that with the applicant along with the North Branford emergency services. We just want to make sure that just gets called out in the conditions. We don't know what the resolution will be, but it will be for the benefit of public safety. Comply with the town engineer's stormwater requirements, which the applicant has already stated they're aware of and will do. And then the Regional Water Authority's June 18th letter, which had those 4 comments, have those be complied with as well. And that prior to the sale of the 3 interior lots, the applicant is requesting to do a payment in lieu of open space. And the requirement is that it shall be fair market value determined by an appraiser, jointly selected by the commission and the applicant. And that should be done prior to the filing on the land record. And then the filing is just all lighting, our standard lighting requirements for applications. So those are the 8 conditions, and I have a draft resolution. Let me just share that. It's very standard. It's based on a resolution from previous 3-lot subdivision. If the commission sees that it's consistent with the regulations, the subdivision regulations, as well as the special exception criteria for interior lots. We lay out the requirement of the payment in lieu of fee, as well as the filing requirements that need to take place in order to formalize this subdivision. So with that, I'll stop sharing and turn it over back to the commission chairman.
Check in, Chair. Thank you, Mikhail. Now the second resolution. What am I correct that one resolution was for the special permit? The first one, I suppose we have to do it for each lot, so we do that 3 times, and then and then the second one was for the subdivision. Was that?
So the resolution is for the subdivision.
Right.
The conditions, the 8 conditions would be on this, essentially the special exception.
Okay.
Create interior lots.
Right. Okay. Okay. Questions, comments from commission? Yeah, Mr. Preddy?
I just want to add one thing. When Michael was going over that, I remembered something else. Part of the conditions of approval of North Branford was that the addresses need to be worked out and put on the subdivision map prior to being filed, for obvious reasons. And the other thing is, during the variance process for the town line issue, the neighbors that are on the North Branford side directly in front of this had quite a bit to say, concerned over privacy and water and that sort of thing. So we did make some changes to the plans and actually had him into the office and went over the plans with him, and he seemed to be okay, and he's not here tonight. So I think we've made the neighbors okay too. I just wanted to relay that.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. So you're suggesting for the subdivision approval, we add a condition that, I don't know, there was already something on there, Mikhail. I thought that
I think he had it too, yeah.
Yeah, did you have that they work out that I think that the actual addresses be worked out and they'd be put on the map before the filing? Was that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I forget how it was phrased for Mikhail. Okay. Questions, comments from commission members before we open up to the public? Hearing none, then let's go ahead and open it up to the public. Does any member of the public wish to comment on this application? I don't see anyone. Does anyone else see anyone? I don't see any member of the public that wishes to comment. Okay, well, I guess there are no public comments on this one. Are there any further comments, Mr. Preddy? You got anything else you want to say?
No, I think we're all set. Thank you.
Right. And then how about commission members and staff? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is probably something we can take up in a little bit. Again, I think we probably need resolutions for each, so because you want it recorded on the land record for each lot, right? So yeah, we'll need to have like separate, well, I don't know, maybe we'll work that out. I don't know if we can do one resolution and just adopt it for each one or something. So, okay. So no other further comments from anyone? Then we'll close these matters as a public hearing. And again, something probably take up a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Preddy. Turning to our next agenda items. First, why don't we go back and see if we can take care of the public hearing items that we just heard. So I think the first one was the item number 4 on our agenda. That was the 4 Sycamore Way, the special exception for the automotive tinting. And Mikhail, can you pull up your proposed resolution for that one?
Yes.
And this one appeared to be just a change of use. And it's use is allowed. And someone's starting a business, so. Or moving their business, so. I don't know if anyone has any comments on this one. Feel free to make them, and if you don't, then someone wants to make a motion to approve the application by adopting the findings and the 3 conditions in the staff report that Mikhail has displaying in front of us here.
Chadwick makes that motion.
Joe Chadwick makes a motion to approve the application with the findings and conditions and staff report. Is there a second?
Dave Dyer seconds.
Dave, I don't think you're actually seated, so.
Oh, I thought, McKellen, it said that I was seated.
I think we have the full commission member. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
You can, yeah, I'm sorry, Dave. I should have, yeah, you can participate in any public hearing because alternates can always participate in public hearings. But once you close a public hearing, yeah, only the seated members, only because there were a 5-member commission. So, but maybe someone else can take your lead, Dave. Someone else.
They will.
Fred Russo will make that a motion.
Fred second.
Motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Joe Chadwick?
Joe Chadwick is in favor.
Fred Russo?
In favor.
Joe Vayuso?
You are unmuted.
Joe Vayuso in favor.
Marcy?
Marcy's in favor.
And Chair is also in favor, so that application's approved. So that brings us then to items 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I guess we should start with the subdivision itself. I think they'll all be effective simultaneously because the subdivision, it's interior lots, and so we have to approve them all at the same time, but they'll all be effective as of the same date. So why don't you pull up the subdivision resolution to start with that.
Okay.
Okay, so Nikhil, I don't know if you want to. I mean, this is modeled after I think prior subdivision approvals we've done.
Correct.
And the whereases are fairly routine. Why don't we go ahead and skip on down then to the next page or the next part of that? And then what are the okay, so what are the conditions? Maybe you can start just running through those with us.
So it's essentially that the map shall be modified to address all the following to the satisfaction of the town planner or the commission prior to submittal of Mylars and for the endorsement of the commission chairperson, all existing and proposed easements and other rights of way as required under section 5.02B 2, 5, and 6 of the subdivision regulations for utilities, drainage, and access, and all remaining information required under section 5.02B of the subdivision regulations, all building setbacks, lines, etc. And as part of the submittal of the revised version of this subdivision map, complying with condition 1 above, and prior to signing of the land and the record plans by the commission chairperson, the subdivider shall submit as required section 6.3 of the subdivision regulations in a form satisfactory to the town. Any required grant or grants to the town in a form ready for execution. Any required easements, drainage, access, utility, and other purpose in a form ready for execution. Certificate title indicating that any proposed conveyance to the town is free of encumbrances and evidence that the signatory authority is signed on behalf of the grantor. Such grants of easements shall not be recorded on the land record until the subdivision plan has been filed on the land records and until any necessary action has been taken by other appropriate town agency or agencies. And that this will take effect July 1st, 2025.
Right. Mikhail, it occurs to me that I know you put the fee in lieu of open space in the other resolution, but that actually the authority to require that is in the subdivision, not in the zoning. So that should probably be in here.
Okay.
But I don't. Maybe you can pull up the other one, and
sure.
Then and just indicate that would be in whatever condition number 3. Great. Okay, anyone have any comments on this? Okay, then if someone wants to, looks good, does someone want to make a motion to approve this application by adopting the resolution that, as amended, that McKeel is displaying in front of us is just gone over?
Marcy will make that motion as presented.
Motion to approve by Marcy. Is there a second?
Chadwick seconds.
Second, Joe Chadwick. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Joe Chadwick,
Joe Chadwick is in favor.
Fred Russo,
In favor.
Joe Vayuso,
Joe in favor.
Marcy,
Marcy's in favor.
and the chair is also in favor. Okay, so that's item number 5, and then we have items 6, 7, and 8, and I think that's going to be the same for that. So, McKeel, if you can pull up your proposed resolution on the interior lot side.
So is the finding, and then the 8 conditions.
Okay, and then McKeel, we can't see it now. I don't know
Oh,
if you're
sorry. We
sharing it.
all right. So the finding.
Okay. You can just run through it with us, I guess, summarize those again.
Yeah, just the finding is that it's in compliance with the conditions below for 3 interior lots by special exception. Prior to start, so ZO will approve the erosion control measures. There'll be no clearing of trees or vegetation on the identified steep slopes. No blasting is proposed as part of this application. Shall comply with the fire marshal comments related to revising the addresses in coordination with North Branford. Comply with all town engineer comments for stormwater runoff requirements. Comply with all comments from the letter dated June 18th, 2025 from the Regional Water Authority. Prior to the sale of the 3 interior lots, payment in lieu of open space by fair market value determined by an appraiser, and then all the lighting requirements that we require. So those are the 8 conditions.
Okay. Any questions or comments from anyone? Then maybe what we do, probably to do this right, we'll make the same motion 3 times, just because they may have to file separately on the land record. So someone will make a motion that for agenda item number 6, which is a special exception for the interior lot 1, that we approve the adopt the findings and conditions set forth by McKeel in his staff report and the 8 conditions that he just mentioned. Does someone want to make that motion for this?
Marcy will make that motion as presented.
Motion made by Marcy, and I think Fred got the second.
2 seconds.
Oh, Fred second for that interior lot number 1. Is there a second? Yes. Any further discussion? All in favor? Joe Chadwick,
Joe Chadwick is in favor.
Fred Russo,
In favor.
Joe Vayuso,
Joe Vayuso in favor.
Marcy,
Marcy's in favor.
and chair's also in favor. Okay, someone want to make the same motion with respect to lot 2?
Marcy will make that motion.
Marcy makes the
For lot
motion to
2?
approve lot 2 with the finding and 8 conditions. Is there a second from someone?
Chadwick seconds.
Second by Joe Chadwick. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Joe Chadwick,
Joe Chadwick is in favor.
Fred Russo,
Red Russo's in favor.
Joe Vayuso,
Joe Vayuso in favor.
Marcy,
Marcy's in favor.
and chair's also in favor. And then finally, for lot number 3, which is agenda item number 8, someone make a motion to approve that special exception interior lot application for lot 3, again by adopting the same finding and 8 conditions that Nikhil has presented to us in the staff report.
Marcy will make that motion for lot 3.
Motion approved by Marcy. Is there a second?
Fred Russo, second.
Second by Fred. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Joe Chadwick,
Joe Chadwick is in favor.
Fred,
Fred's in favor.
Joe Vayuzo,
Joe Vayuso in favor.
Marcy,
Marcy's in favor.
and Chair is also in favor. So those applications are approved. Thank you, Ms. Preddy. And I think that's it for our public hearing items. And just going down through the agenda now, we'll go under old business. We have a item number 1 is scheduled for a public. That's another 3-lot subdivision that's scheduled for our public hearing at our next meeting, which is on July 10th. And then the item number 2, that's something we may be able to address tonight, I guess, which is American Polyfilm, care of Matthew Casella, applicant and owner, 15 Baldwin Drive. This is a site plan modification for manufacturing. Is the applicant here for that?
Jim Preddy, Criscolo Engineering, 420 East Main Street in Branford, representing American Polyfilm. So this property, I don't know if anybody's been down to the end of 15 Baldwin Drive, but it's a very clean facility. It was a site plan was approved in 2013. In 2021, an addition was approved, and then might have been early 24. A cogen system was approved. Assuming you're looking at the map, this is the addition that was approved in 21, 30 by 100. And now they're going to add this space here, in addition to another pallet storage shed, call it a shed, but the front of the, much like the one that's on this side, the front of it's open, so it's only a 3-sided addition. This is just to expand some storage and operating space. They're not planning on adding any employees. We did have to shift, we will have to shift over the partial access drive, but basically all this parking, they have no parking issues now. All this parking was waived way back when, and we're still hopefully waiving it. This is all flat lawn space back here now, so nothing really gets affected. The detention basins that are on the site were designed for much more of a build out. When we did this subdivision back in 99, I think it was, the impervious surface ratio was 75% back then. So we planned on these lots for full build out when we designed these detention basins. So they're quite honestly very oversized. And that's it. I can show you. So this is the space on the floor plan, or the door coming through. And so from the back, this is the addition that was approved last. Here's the new one. It'll more or less match what's going on there. From the street side, which you really don't see because of the cul-de-sac, but here again, here's the last addition, and then this kind of just sticks out past it a little bit. It looks like an extension of the same one. And here's from the rear. It's that open pallet shed. They reuse or recycle pallets here. It's basically the only real outside storage that they use, and it's enclosed partially anyway. That's it. Pretty simple.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Preddy. It's not a public hearing, but so we don't need to open up the public. But Nikhil, you want to summarize your staff report?
Yes. So sharing my staff report. So here's a color version of the building and the bump out that is being added onto. Again, this was originally designed under different standards, which were more lenient, and they opted to show how they could accommodate those more stricter standards. but the parking obviously was on the maps was always future use and not built out, and they hadn't had a need. This is the layout. The green is the addition. If you couldn't tell from what Jim showed, the standards are now to 75% impervious. It's now 60%, which they're still adhering to. They're now at 0.52. They adhere to all the basic standards. Again, the parking, because they're showing how they can accommodate all the required parking, but not having to build it. They are looking at having to provide 78 spaces. And then they've responded to department comments. Fire marshal had no issues other than they'll need to get appropriate permits if they get approved. And they did go for WPCA approval recently, I believe. Did you go, June? Yeah.
Yes, last Tuesday, the revised sewer agreement needs to be put together by their attorney. We just need the assessor to give a value to it so they can amend it.
Yeah. The department had any concerns that we asked for. And they comply with all standards. Any conditions really are just making sure the erosion control measures are put into place, comply with the fire marshal and town engineer comments, which it sounds like they've already done. There's an existing tree that's being removed because of the addition, and we request that, since that was part of the previous site plan or landscaping plan, that tree be replaced somewhere on the property. They have plenty of room to do it. And then the lighting requirements. And that's staff comments.
Great. Chuck Anderson, thank you, McKeel. Questions, comments from commission members? Looks fairly straightforward. Again, we don't need to open up to the public. It's just a site plan. If no one has any comments, someone will make a motion to approve the application by adopting the findings and conditions in the staff report that McKeel has just reviewed with us.
Fred Roos will make that motion.
Motion to approve by Fred. Is there a second?
Chadwick, seconds.
Second, Joe Chadwick. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Joe Chadwick.
Joe Chadwick is in favor.
Fred Russo.
In favor.
In favor.
Joe Bayuso.
Joe Bayuso in favor.
Marcy.
Marcy's in favor.
And chair's also in favor. So that application is approved.
Thank you, folks. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Preddy. That brings us then to new business. I think the only new business item is the item we referred to earlier, or no, there's, that's not correct. There's two new business items, right?
Two.
Yeah, the first one is the Damascus Road LLC. That's a special exception for the creation of new interior lot, and we'll need to schedule a public hearing for that one. McKeel, I don't know, whenever that works, I assume sometime in July, I guess.
Yeah, we're recommending to open it July 10th.
Okay.
So that we have an extra meeting before you guys take a recess in August.
Sure. And then I think there's the application referred to earlier by Mr. Lee for the zoning, the map amendment that I think that was on the revised agenda that was sent out.
Yes.
Yeah. So that'll, right.
July 10th as well.
July 10th on that one. So, okay. So I think that's it for new business. I think we got the minutes, right? We should probably approve them. Is that what's, yeah, let's look at our minutes. I think we sent them out. There was the June 5th minutes from our June 5th meeting. I don't know if you had a chance to review those. And if anyone wants to make a motion with respect to the June 5th minutes.
Fred Roos will make that motion.
Fred makes a motion to approve the June 5th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes. Is there a second?
Marcy, a second.
Someone?
Give it to Joe.
Give it to Marcy.
Okay. Okay, we'll give it to Marcy. Okay, Marcy seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor? Joe Chadwick,
Joe Chadwick is in favor.
Fred Russo,
Fred Russo's in favor.
Joe Vayuso,
Joe in
Marcy,
favor.
Marcy's in favor.
and Chair is also in favor. That brings us into correspondence. Any correspondence, Nikhil?
No correspondence this month.
No correspondence. That brings us then to other business, which is our planners report. What do you got for us, Nikhil?
Two items. Thank you for attending the workshop that occurred. I'm going to be putting together the materials that I collected into some notes and probably get them to the commission for the July 10th meeting so you can see it. And I am putting together the plan for how to reach out to stakeholders in July and August so that I can have more of an action plan put together for the commission so that we can start working in September.
Okay.
The other
Nikhil,
item is that they are working on updating the zoning map. Yeah, you still see me?
Yeah, you froze a little bit there. So
Okay. Repeating work on our zoning map and should have an updated zoning map that will be available to the public by the end of June. And that's my only update right now.
okay, great. Okay, so I think that is it for our agenda. Does anyone else have anything? If not, then does someone make a motion to adjourn?
Chadwick will make
Marcy.
that motion.
Motion
Marcy,
to
a
adjourn by
second.
Joe Chadwick and seconded by Marcy. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Joe Chadwick,
Joe Chadwick is in favor.
Fred Russo,
In favor.
Joe Vayuso,
Joe Vayuso in favor.
Marcy,
Marcy's in favor.
and Chair is also in favor. Good night, everyone. I am, by the way, going to be out of the country till like June 3rd or so hopefully nothing happens then. But
Where are you going?
Italy with my kid. So,
Beautiful. Enjoy.
okay, thanks.
Take care, everybody.
This program was
Good
brought
night.
to you in part
Good night.
through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.